Well, hi YouTubers, I'm back with 6 months 60 books, and I think it's one of the hottest day of the year. It is the 9th of May. It's a 60 books in isolation, and I am starting with a Star Trek book because I'm a massive Star Trek fan. Apart from Star Trek Discovery, I couldn't get into it. It just seemed to lack something. There was just too much going on. And Star Trek Picard, I've watched 2 episodes, and I found out the ending, and Picard becomes a toaster. So I haven't actually watched. I will watch them, but I think it'll be one of them watching them in the background kind of thing, because I don't know. I'm more of a DS9 girl anyway. Okay, so but anyway, this was an original Star Trek series by Peter David. Now it's called Star Trek New Frontier. This is book 1. Now I love Peter David. He's obviously written for comics. He's written a book I'm going to review coming up called Apropos of Nothing, and I love his books. He's just funny. Okay, so this is Star Trek New Frontier. Okay, so from the universe of Star Trek The Next Generation, a new crew, a new ship, a new mission. Right, now what's interesting about this book is years before he did a series called the Starfleet Academy novels, which obviously has our people from the Next Generation at Starfleet Academy and some DS9 as well, and they were really good books, and some of the characters in those books actually feature in this as well, which was a nice touch. Okay, and I remember those books. There's a character called Zach Kebron who became Worf's roommate at the academy, and I liked him because they're different kind of species and they kick the crap out of each other, and but they actually become friends at the end. So anyway, this is a bit here. Now this is a long blurb. Okay, Sector 22-1/G. For the whole of Federation history, this large area of space has been controlled by the Thalians, a crude militaristic race of which little is known except they have ruled the other races in their sector with a vicious iron hand. Now, the Empire has collapsed and the system it once ruled are in chaos. Old hatreds are surfacing, petty tyrants control deadly weapons, world after world is ascending into disorder and self-destruction. The Federation must send a starship to help where it can and report what it finds. That ship is a USS Excalibur, a newly refitted Ambassador-class starship commanded by Commander Mackenzie Calhoun and manned by Starfleet's best and brightest, including some old friends from Star Trek The Next Generation, some of the most dynamic new characters ever to crew a Federation starship. Join Captain Calhoun and the crew of the USS Excalibur as they explore strange new worlds, seek out new life and new civilizations, and where would it go where no one has gone before? God, wasn't that a bloody blurb? Oh, anyway. This book is demented, okay? Now, the thing is, this book is just insane. It's okay, I'll be honest. Seth MacFarlane wanted to get hold of Star Trek and make Star Trek because Seth MacFarlane loves Star Trek. I reckon if he got hold of it, it would have been like this book, okay? Instead, he made the Orville, which is basically Star Trek, the same as Galaxy Quest is a Star Trek film. Yes, quote me on that. It's true, okay? This is basically the insanity of Starfleet officers on a starship. This is obviously book 1. It's only really setting up only a few characters. And then there's Mackenzie Calhoun, who is he at the age of 19 he basically became a rebel leader, and he has this vision of Captain Picard whilst he's got the scar down his face after a fight, and he basically has a visions of Commander Shelby and Captain Picard, and he winds up because joining Starfleet, as you do, okay, as you do, you join Starfleet, and it turns out that he never things happen, and he wanted to quit Starfleet, but essentially, he never quit Starfleet. He wound up working for basically for Section 31. At this point in the book, Section 31 had not been invented yet, because that was more like a DS9. They'll kind of reinvented Section 31, but the way it's described is Section 31. So, right. And it's just absolutely nuts, okay? And this bit here, okay? This is quite fun, the book. One could watch the dynamics of Picard's book, Nietzsche discussion. I took him no time at all to discern what was really going on. He noticed that Spock was delivering most of the remarks or comments to Picard, treating him with respect and deference. It was only natural, or if you will, logical, that Spock should do so. I thought Picard had put his own mind on the line to try to help Sarek's Spock's late father Nietzsche by her rapt sorry, Sarek's Spock's late father. Nietzsche, by her rapt attention on the rug, was clearly a major admirer of Spock's. That's understandable. The term living legend was overblown and pompous, but in the case of Ambassador Spock, it was also bang on accurate. Yes. Yes, Spock appears in this book as well. Spock appears in this book. And it's just it's just insane. And I don't know why. This feels like a bit fanfiction-y in a way, but you kind of just got to roll with it. You kind of got to roll with it. And also, I guess I kind of like this Federation. It's a bit of jabs at, obviously, Nietzsche and a measure of a man. There is little things like that. Little things like that. There you go. But this kind of sums up. This is after Mackenzie's grad her thing. And basically, you know how with the Orville, it's kind of like the whole tagline for that. The universe has got a screw loose. Well, this is kind of that. This is the kind of captain that they need. They need someone basically to go in the vast unknown, a strategist, a warrior, if you will. It kind of shows the difference between the Federation and the kind of his own mentality. Okay. Because they need a rebel, and Starfleet is a bit too, I don't know, I guess perfect. Here we go. This bit here. Right. This is when Picard is talking to Nietzsche. He's worked for you clandestinely, I see. You serve both endings, really. Mackenzie Calvin is a man, needs challenges. He thrives on them. I know that all too well, acknowledged Picard. Well, we were able to provide him with that. It served the needs of all concerned. So what you're telling me is that Calhoun is out of the running, that you wish to reserve him for your special needs? Not necessarily. I agree with you that Calhoun may be one of the best that the Academy ever turned out. Part of the reason for my recruiting him, under duress I admit, was I didn't want to lose him. I'm concerned that we may be on the verge of losing him now. He's been under for too long, I think. Now, I like that. How I did okay that, because Mackenzie's doing undercover work, he's been under for too long. It's basically his turn size, and he really, really hasn't, because Mackenzie just really, what I like about Mackenzie Calhoun, with the scar down his face and the purple eyes, okay, because he's all a different humanoid looking species, but he's not human, fine, okay, is, he just doesn't give a shit. He just doesn't give a shit. And I absolutely love that. I love that. This is just an example, okay, of someone discussing Mackenzie. Right. It's obviously okay, he's been recruited back. He was a savage at heart, that much Picard knew. In some ways, he reminded Picard of Worf. But there were differences, though. Worf always seemed about as relaxed as a dominant volcano. His ferocity was a perpetual and prominent part of his nature. Picard had gone so much further. He had actually created an entire persona for himself. And he said himself, a sort of cloak that he could wrap around himself and use to keep the world at bay, and his inward tempestuous nature away from the world. As a consequence, he was uniquely focused, uniquely adept at problem solving, and one of the most dedicated individuals Picard had ever encountered. Yeah, so Picard's looking at him basically, he's soul searching, he's got like this little cloak of him. It sounds a bit pretentious as well. It sounds really, really pretentious. And the thing is, I mentioned Shelby because obviously Shelby was basically, she was like the breakout from the best of both worlds. She was fantastic. I loved Shelby. And she's also Mackenzie's ex as well. Because Mackenzie had a vision of her, they got together, and it didn't really work out, but hey. So, yeah, it's like this ragtag team of Starfleet officers, okay? And it's just insane. It is just absolutely insane. And also, it means there's a character called Sealar as well, who obviously appeared in the Starfleet Academy novels, who essentially, when she goes back for her pomfar, okay, to her husband, he has a heart attack during pomfar. Yeah. And it kind of sets her on this course of basically closing off her heart and her emotions, okay? Because during the act, he had a heart attack and died. So these are individual characters kind of really kind of brought in at the time, okay? I mean, it really is kind of confusing too, okay? I mean, it starts with obviously Mackenzie basically being a baller, being injured. He's basically had a fight. He has these visions. We were supposed to get years ago, but he got nothing now. He gets them now, Picard and Shelby, and that inspires him to join Starfleet. But this is just an insane retelling, and I love this. I wanted this. I wanted this to be a TV show when I first read it years ago. I actually read this years ago, and it came out back in the 1990s. It came out in 1997. I read this when I was about 18, 19, and I wanted to become a TV show. Just the insanity, the insane ones of Starfleet, okay? All out for themselves, bit of it insane, a bit of rebel, okay, and it never happened. And so we got Discovery Picard, which I've kind of, on some levels, rejected. I do just don't like Michael Burnham. Anyway, so I liked this book. It's Insanity of Starfleet, and I got the other four because the first four came out. Yes, obviously to make money. Okay, make more money. Okay, as like a four book omnibus, the first four. Okay, which I've got them all, and I got I think I got 5, 6, and 7. Okay, I got them on eBay. So I'm going to be reviewing all of them, pretty much one after the other. This is the first one by Peter David, and it's insane, and I loved it. Loved it. So anyway, my lovely little geeky happy review, okay, on this lovely day in May during lockdown. So sign off everyone, YouTubers, take care, loves to you all, members of the Geek Nation, put this book down, and bye now.